Continuing north through the valley of the River Derwent in Derbyshire, I find myself in the town of Belper, which lies on the A6 about 1.5 miles north of Milford. Belper was acclaimed winner of winners at the 2014 Great British High Street Awards, with some retail therapy at specialist shops. Here along King Street lies a host of cafes, pubs and restaurants, providing locally produced food, real ales and live music. Art house films and blockbuster movies can also be enjoyed in the plush surroundings of the restored Art Deco Picture Palace, the award-winning independent Ritz cinema.
Good morning. Now, Belper is a place I do visit a lot, whether it's for work or in my own time. But I'll talk more about that as the day goes on.
Beyond the top of King Street, I came to the historic marketplace, where a popular monthly farmers' market is held. I walked back down to the A6 and made my way north towards the huge mill buildings ahead of me. During the early Industrial Revolution, Belper became one of the first mill towns, with the establishment of several textile mills, and today forms part of the Derwent Valley Mills World Heritage Site. The construction of the industrialist Jedediah Strutt's mills brought many workers to Belper, and I walked past Long Row, a picturesque cobbled street built around 1790 to house the mill workers. Just beyond here, I came to a junction where I turned left along Bridge Foot. Strutt built a water-powered cotton mill in Belper in the late 18th century, the second in the world at the time. In 1784, Strutt built the North Mill, and across the road, the West Mill. In 1803, the North Mill was burnt down and replaced by a new structure designed to be fireproof, which is now the Derwent Valley Visitor Centre. Further extensions followed, culminating in the East Mill in the early 20th century, a present-day Belper landmark. Although no longer used to manufacture textiles, the mill still derives electricity from the river, using turbine-driven generators.
During the earliest years of my time of living in Derbyshire, I mainly came to Belper for work purposes. But as the years went on, I came here a lot for shopping, really, and I still do today. Not all the time, but just for a change I like to have a bit of a trip out, and Belper's only 10 miles down the road from where I live, so it's quite nice for a change to come here shopping and make a bit of a trip of it then. And just before lockdown, some friends of mine and myself, we came here on the train. And it was great to sort of hop on the train from where we live, straight down to Belper, only 10 minutes on the train, and we'd have a lovely night out here. Obviously, since lockdown we've not been able to do that, but hopefully we'll be able to do it again very soon, because Belper, I must admit, it's been a really great place for a night out. Some fantastic pubs in the town, some really good real ale places, so whenever we can start to do that again, I really look forward to it.
Next to the mill are the beautiful river gardens, which include shrubberies and colourful flower beds, together with a central bandstand and a children's play area. Throughout the summer months there are band concerts, outdoor theatre and other special events in the grounds. Rowing boats can also be hired during the summer.
Lovely. I do love the sound of rushing water. Okay, the walk starts just on the other side of the bridge here.
Crossing over the River Derwent, I turned left to take the tarmac road immediately beyond the bridge. Soon the road became a footpath, which remained beside the river, although the trees to my left mainly kept the Derwent hidden from my view.
This is another walk I've not done before. Again, despite coming to Belper a lot over the years, I've never done any walking around here, so I'll have another new perspective of it today. It's quite confusing really, isn't it? Because I'm walking in the Derwent Valley, but this is the Amber Valley district of Derbyshire. So that makes it very confusing. So I'm in Amber Valley, but I'm walking in the Derwent Valley.
I passed a sewage treatment works and continued alongside the river before my path eventually merged with a lane. This in turn led me on to Chevin Road, along which I turned left.
Passing the railway has actually just reminded me again. Before I started the walk this morning, I was saying that I came to Belper on trips with friends for nights out. Now, where we all live is 10 miles north of Belper, and it's the end of the railway line between Derby and where we live, and Belper's sort of more or less on the halfway point. Now, a few years ago, we just decided for a complete change of scene to travel on the train down to Derby, because it was literally about half an hour and it cost about £6 return, which was brilliant. Cheaper than actually driving down to Derby and then finding somewhere to park. But we used to love it because we used to travel down on the train to Derby and we would spend the evening walking around different real ale pubs, and it was a really good night out. And then after a while we decided to try Belper. And as I say, it was only like 10-15 minutes on the train from where we live. And again, it was, I don't know, just over a £5 return on the train. And you get off at the station in Belper and you're right in the middle of the town. So everything is there in very short walking distance. It's brilliant. And that was really nice. I think we did Belper probably about 3 or 4 times. And all the pubs were close together. It was more spread out when we went to Derby. So going to Belper was better because everything was closer together. And it was probably a nicer place anyway. And it was great. We had some fantastic evenings out. I can't remember the names of all the pubs, but we went in about 4 or 5 different ones on all the trips that we had to Belper. And as I say, by the time we finished our night out, I think the last train back from Belper was about 10:15 at night. Perfect. We used to travel down, I think about 5 o'clock in the evening, so it always sounded early, but by the time we got to Belper it was probably about 5:30. Then we'd go and have something to eat, and then we would go around the pubs. So, to be honest with you, it might seem like a long night, but it wasn't really. And we probably on average, certainly I would have on average, probably about 5 or 6 pints, which is a lot for me really, but spread across the course of that evening, it worked out fine, especially as we had something else to eat as well to soak up all the alcohol. So yeah, really good night out in Belper. Because of the lockdown, of course, that stopped everything. But hopefully, now that we are into some easing of lockdown, very soon we might all be able to start coming down on the train again and have more nights out in Belper. That will be really lovely.
Continuing along Chevin Road, I crossed a bridge near the entrance to the Milford railway tunnel. Reaching the row of houses, I took the first road on the right, which climbed steeply up the hill. At the top, I met the ridgetop track by Chevin Golf Course, the same golf course I had walked through on my previous walk from Duffield. Turning right, I followed the track between the walls, and soon found myself walking along another section of the Midshire's Way.
It's funny because it's the 29th of August 2020. And it's not warm. I can't believe I'm wearing a fleece in August. They did say on the weather forecast that it is going to be unusually cool today, which it is. I did get warm as I was climbing up from Chevin Lane, but now that I'm back on the level again, it's cooling off again, especially whilst I'm sheltered under these trees. But another lovely walk. Again, another walk in Amber Valley that I've not done before. As I say, I've been to Belper so many times. I've never done a walk from Belper before, and again, it's really nice, really lovely.
I had excellent views over Belper as I continued along the track. Derbyshire is crossed by many ancient trackways, some dating back several thousand years. This one is known as North Lane, part of the Portway, an important track running roughly northwest to southeast across Derbyshire. This stretch was used by the Romans to carry lead from the Wirksworth area to Duffield. Eventually I came to a junction where a footpath dropped down to the right, which would be my way back to Belper. However, I decided first to stay with the Midshire's Way, as it suddenly took a sharp left-hand turn leading out onto a road at Farnah Green. Nestled within this quiet and secluded village is the very popular Bluebell Country Inn and Restaurant. Just before the inn, I turned off right along a very narrow path and took a short loop around the back of the local houses. Meeting the road again, I retraced my steps along the path to the junction, where I saw the path earlier dropping down to Belper.
Okay, that was a brief walk around Farnah Green. That way lies ahead, as I drop back into Belper.
Leaving the Midshire's Way, I descended between the fields, following a series of paths as I headed back to Belper.
I think I've just timed this walk right because I can feel a few drops of rain. Yeah. Oh well, but it's been another lovely walk here in the Derwent Valley, which is within the Amber Valley district of Derbyshire. But yeah, a really lovely walk. And I must say, as soon as we're able to do so, I'm really looking forward to coming back down to Belper on the train and having a few more really good nights out again.